Hey, what's going on, guys? So let me first start out by saying that this is my first time making a video, so bear with me here. I asked yesterday if anyone would be interested in checking out my strategy and how I trade Bitcoin. Not only Bitcoin, but stocks and options as well. I learned this strategy a while ago, and it's proved itself effective. I was taught this strategy by a mentor, and it's really helped me. And since I moved to this strategy, I have become profitable, and yeah, that's a good thing. Basically, making this video to help anyone out that's kind of struggling and finding themselves at a dead end. You don't have to trade every day, guys, and you don't have to use different indicators and all that garbage that basically smashes your screen and makes you actually look at the indicators more than the price action itself. I am a price action trader. I look for trends and I base my entries and exits off of trends. Um, Support and resistance, like how it should be. It's an old school method, and old school usually works. So we'll start here with an empty screen. I know some people have asked me what indicators I use and like the different EMAs I use, and I'll get into that here shortly. But we'll start with this blank screen right here. This is Bitcoin on the daily using the Kraken exchange. Is that's what I trade on. I like trading with leverage, and it's a legal exchange in the United States to use. So I don't really mess with BitMEX too much, just because of the regulations, and you basically have to use a VPN in order to do that. So I stick with Kraken. They allow up to 5 times leverage, which is more than enough for me. But yeah, let's get started here. So the first thing I'm going to do here is basically look for obvious support and resistance lines. Drop one here, um, drop one here. This is very, very basic, but like I said, basic and old school works, so why not use it? Um, so from there, we'll look for trends. That's usually, I did mention I'm a trend trader, so kind of look for trends. This was a breakdown right here. If you want to look more currently, this is actually the trend that I have been trading right here, and I've been picking my entries and exits based off of this. This usually works on every time frame. I use it on a daily time frame because to me that's the most accurate. The sure you've heard the higher time frame you go, the more accurate it is. Um, so yeah, I mean, I look for trends and I basically buy pullbacks and sell into price resistance. So when I talk about buying pullbacks, we could zoom in here on the current state of Bitcoin, which I'm sure most of you want to see here. So we have this established trend right here. We're having higher highs, higher lows, and this is the breakout that we've seen in, what was it? No, where's that breakout that we've seen in February? Was it February when it bumped up from? Yeah, right here. Here was the first jump right here. So ever since we made this leap up right here, we've been seeing higher highs. And I did post a picture the other day, showing these higher highs that are being made. And that's what we want to look for when we're trading trend. We want to look for higher highs and higher lows. And my whole thing is trade what is given to you. Don't try to predict. Don't try to, you know, tell the future because that usually doesn't work so well, and you usually find yourself losing money with that. So, with that said, we'll look at the current state. So, like I said, I'm a trend trader. I want to buy pullbacks. I find an established trend, let it post its high, it pulls back to trend line, which we see right here. then I wait for confirmation. I don't just buy because it hits the trend line. I want to see some follow through afterwards. I want to see buyers stepping in after price support is touched, which we did see right here. Now, I mean, this is kind of a bad example. You could see this, I guess you could look at this as a double top pattern. Um, but yeah, I mean, so it came back to the supporting trend line, and we did see buyers step in. So anywhere on this candle that you would have bought would have been a good entry. You let it do its thing, so it did go up here, but like I said, it double topped. It came back to trend, and right here is, let me try to find my circle button. This candle right here is where we seen the buyer step in. Came to trend, touched the trend, buyer stepped in, we came up, we made a new high. So now what happened there? We seen a pullback. Seen a pullback back to trend, and here was that other buy candle. This is what I consider a buy signal right here. Move this to here. To me, that candle there is another buy signal. This is actually where I bought in on this most recent pullback. I got in at about 8,000, which is, roughly on this trend line, and I'm still in my position. I'm up, what are we up right now? Without looking at my current position, we're up 8.4%, which is, amazing. If you're on leverage, that's, a great gain. So what I actually found, and actually I didn't find it, I was taught this method too, is that we can make it easier for ourselves to spot these trends here. So if we come to the, you know, indicators that I use, I wouldn't really consider this an indicator. It's not an oscillating indicator. It's not MACD. It's not RSI. But I do use the V-stop combined with the 17 EMA. And if you look, you can see the trend. This basically draws the trend for you. You don't even have to draw trend lines anymore. I still do, just because once again, I like the old school method, but this actually gives you price support levels. You have your first price support here on the 17 EMA, which is the orange line, and then you have your V stop here, which is basically your second support zone. Oh, let me have a sip of coffee here. So when we look at this, what do we see? Price is trading above it. Obviously, it's bullish, but if we look back in time when we were in that downtrend, price trading below it is bearish. So we're talking, how I mentioned earlier about the pullbacks. That's when you want to buy, whether you're going long, whether you're going short. I mean, we could look at it back here, broke below the 17 EMA and V stop. Here, this would be considered a pullback. It has to rest. Nothing's ever going to go straight down or go straight up. Everything has a pullback. It's natural. That's how all markets work. Like whether you're talking about cryptocurrency, traditional markets, it always happens that way. So you made your high here, fell. You had a failure to break this high, which was would indicate a downtrend. So it's coming down. It's trying to make its way back up. Fails right here. Where are we at? Fails at the 17 EMA. Hits it, and now you have confirmation that people are going to continue to sell off. This right here, this candle right here, would be your sell signal. Open up your short, let it fall. Take your profits when you're happy. Um, don't be greedy. You know what I mean? Like if you would have opened up there and took your profits down here, you're 9.5 or almost 10% gain. I would say you probably should close that trade. So from there, makes its way back up, which is another pullback, or in this case it would be a rally back to resistance. Fails again at the 17 EMA, works its way back down. Now you hit here. You don't want to buy here. You want to wait for confirmation. Like I said, you want to wait to see in this case, people continue selling, or in the uptrend case, people now stepping in to buy. So you hit the 17 EMA, work your way back down again. What happens here again? Comes back up, hits the 17 EMA, consolidates. Now, see, this is, this candle right here, this black candle right here, you would probably have taken the trade on that because you would see that you hit the 17 MA, you did get rejected. People continued to, sellers stepped in, continue to sell off. But as long as you're not breaking this 17 EMA, and even if you did break it, you still have that second level, which is the V stop. So in this case, it did, the 17 EMA did stop it, come back down, came back down again. Here's another, you could bought anywhere on this candle here, came back down, now pulled back again. This time, the opposite happened. Found some support down here at the bottom, which I didn't really look back. Definitely is a support zone, and even made it a stronger support zone for the future here, a very strong support zone. But yeah, comes up, pulls back. Actually, this wouldn't be a pullback. This would be a consolidation. Came up again. You really wouldn't have known. I guess you could have drawn some, support and resistance lines in this level here to, I guess, find out that this would be a resistance zone, but came back down, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you guys get the point. So now we come and look at the uptrend part of it here. So, V stops turning green here. We're trading above the 17 EMA. We're trading above V stop. And as you can see, it holds every single time. Comes down to the V stop, finds support. If it doesn't find support on the 17 EMA, it'll find support on the V stop. Trading above the whole time. And here, where was that? I keep missing that February. That February pump that kind of took us over. I think this was it right here. So yeah, we came up. Looks like we hit some price resistance in this area, which was okay. Came back down, but it held. Didn't fall below the V stop, which is that crucial line of support, for a trend trader for me. I, look at the V stop as basically the last line of support until, either we see a change in trend or some further downside, but held up the whole time. Came here, popped up, we made a higher high, seeing a little bit of consolidation right here. Came back up, made a higher high, pulled back, higher high, pulled back to V stop, which was, like this right here would have been a beautiful trade, and I'm sure I was in this. I haven't looked back at my history, but I'm sure I was in this. Here, you could have bought on this pullback right here, but the further you buy from your 17 EMA and the V stop, the more risk you're going to have. Because you want to buy close, because you could always set your stop, if you're into setting stops, you could always set your stop a little bit below that, or, in this case, you would have got stopped out right here. But we all know how cryptos trade. They have these long wicks. But yeah, the closer you buy to support levels, the better risk and reward you have. So yeah, we made a little high here. We had a nice little consolidation, popped back up. I would consider this as a pullback, a rest zone. Came back up, pullback. This right here, I did get this. I'm positive I got this because I remember I was going crazy when I seen I got filled here. But yeah, look at that wick straight down to the 17 EMA. We did pass it a little bit. We didn't make it all the way to V stop, but we did come to the 17 EMA. This would have been a beautiful spot to buy. Even though you don't have confirmation that you're gonna continue an uptrend, it's just like the risk and reward in this area is beautiful. And I did buy this because that's what I do. I didn't mention that I structure my buys in this area, in these areas of support. Like I'll throw out random buy orders in this area just so that if it does, we do see these wicks like we always do. You get filled and then people buy it right up. So we can go back to drawing the trend here. Sorry, let me move this out of the way. If you go back to drawing the trend right here, and if you want to look at it at a trend line point of view, you buy on the trend. Had a pullback, buyer stepped in. Anywhere on this candle is a buy. Had a pullback, buyer stepped in. It went up. Now we're up here. Pullback, and this came. This is a perfect buy right here. For people that weren't able to get in a little bit lower. This was, to me, this was the last and most recent entry right here. Had a pullback to the 17 EMA, buyer stepped in, and we're moving up. So as of right now, I can see that we are hitting a little bit of price resistance, but I'm not worried about it. When I will start getting worried about it is if we can't break that, and we do have a failure to break the most previous high, and we do see a break in these support levels. That's when maybe I'll start worrying. But as of right now, it's following this trend line up perfectly, and that's what I want to see. So with that said, I hope you guys like this video. Like I said, it was my first one, so I'm not expecting too much feedback. But yeah, let me know if you guys liked it and if you would want to see another one. If you had any questions, or I didn't explain my process good enough, or you want more in depth or whatever, I have my email in my StockTwit profile, so you could shoot me an email there and I'll get back to you. I'm not trying to get any money out of this or anything. I'm just trying to help people that are struggling and that need help, because we were all there at one point in time. And I know it sucks, but as long as you don't give up and you learn this stuff, and it's really not hard. This is the most simple strategy you can ever do. You know what I mean? You don't need indicators to make money. You don't need to join alert groups to make money. You don't need to pay for these membership and these courses to make money. It's very, very, very easy. Just doing trend trading. Like I said, it's old school, it's traditional, and it works, and that's why people continue doing it. So, with that said, I hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend, and trade safe. Good luck. Hope you guys get some gains on this next pump. Take care.